Hi there, and welcome to day 36 of the 6-week challenge. I think it's it is day 36, so it's Tuesday. Another lovely day in Christchurch. The weather's really beautiful outside, garden's looking good. In fact, I need to go and water my lawn in a bit, so I'll do that once I've shot this video and then get on with some of my day job work. So today I wanted to talk to you about something that I listen to. What I do when I'm exercising, especially at the moment while I'm not able to do any weight training or any impact work at all while the chiropractor's got me signed off, anything like that, and I'm on the exercise bike, which I find just so bloody boring, but it has to be done. I listen to, well, not podcasts, but I listen to Audible or other or books, online audio books, so that I can learn some stuff and actually find it, try and improve myself and grow a little bit as a person. And I'm currently listening to a book about habits, and there was an interesting bit in there, because when I'm listening to the books and whatever I'm listening to, I try and apply it to my journey and our journey, your journey, this whole thing of trying to deal with our behaviors and our relationship with food and habits, and what we can actually do to improve and make it so that we are totally in control and don't have to have any excess weight, and actually feel really good about ourselves. So that I was listening to it, and there was an interesting story in there about a lady. Now this lady, she was, I think she must have been early 50s in America. Kids were grown up, just moved out. And in fact, one of them wasn't. One of them, I think, was still at school, but older at school, but still. And her husband was off working all the time. And she was kind of sat around thinking, what can I do with myself? And she'd just be sitting watching the clock. And in fact, she would cover up the clock so as not to see the hands move. Because otherwise she'd find herself just staring at it and then watching some American TV. This is in America, by the way, strangely enough. So then one day she thought, well, what I'll do is I'll try and wait and not look at the clock and do anything with it for 3 hours to midday. And if I get to midday, then I can go out and do something fun. So she spent her time planning, and she kind of thought to herself, well, you know what I'd like to do? I would like to pop along to a casino. I've never been to one before. Let's go along and have a look. So there was a casino quite nearby, a riverboat casino. And so she went along, and she got there, and there were people with a cocktail greeting you at the door. There was free shrimp bar. And she basically explored herself, went and sat down at a blackjack table, and the dealer explained the game, and she started to play, and she didn't do particularly well. She threw her $40 limit in half an hour, but she had a really good time. And she felt valued. And so she started to do this once a week. And she set herself a limit to doing once a week. And she did it regularly, once a week. And she got better and better, learned the skills. And it became kind of an automatic process going in there. And actually, rather than having to think about what she'd have to do when the cards were there, she would then be able to just automatically know what the best move to be, whether she should split, whether she should fold, whether she should hit. It was her choice of what to do. And she really understood what to do with the maths of the game because she'd been doing it so much. Unfortunately, as she got caught up in it, sometimes she'd win big, sometimes she'd lose big, and she got more and more addicted, is probably the right phrase of doing it, until she ended up in about $20,000 worth of debt, having borrowed from her parents and had to file for bankruptcy, and then gave up gambling. And so the thing about this, the reason I'm telling you this story is talking about her and the reason she said she did it. And it was, for her, it started off with about finding some way of controlling her environment, giving her some meaning in her life, because now the kids were growing up, now the husband was away all the time. She felt like she was a housewife, but other members of her family were successful, and she felt like she didn't have any meaning, and she felt it was something that actually she was good at, and it gave her some measure of control in her life as well. And this got me thinking about how that relates to our journey, and certainly the relationship with food. And I realised that things become habit very, very easily. I often talk about my love of cheese and wine, but the problem is you do have that thing, is that I sat there hungry of an evening, and this I say, if I'm there hungry of an evening, I'm thinking, I fancy some cheese, and I open the cheese up, well, the habit then is to crack open some wine or some port. Now, if I crack open the wine, my habit then is if I have one glass, I'll have a second glass, and then you look at the bottle and there's only about a third left, and you think, well, why not? I'll feel all right in the morning, let's just do it. And then you can end up drinking a bottle of wine, which is not good for anyone, not a bottle of wine a night. Maybe every few days. I think they say a glass of wine a day is very good for you. Not a massive glass, but a medium glass. So a bottle should be lasting you 5 or 4 or 5 days. So it becomes a habit, and then you think the next day, oh, wow, I fancy a bit more cheese, and the same thing happens again, and you suddenly get into a habit of doing something which isn't necessarily good for you. Similarly, when I go to my Krav Maga class on a Thursday, I started again before I was signed off with injury. I started on a Thursday afterwards. I'd be really hot, and I'd stop at the co-op on the way home, pick up a couple of cold beers, come home, and enjoy those beers while watching a program with my wife, and it became a lovely habit, but a lovely habit that adds 500 calories a week to what I'm eating. And if unchecked and nothing is equal, I was eating to balance over the period of 7 weeks. That would be a pound of fat that it would add to my body. A pound of fat just added on from a new habit that I've formed over the space of a year. That would be 5, 6, 7, almost 8 pounds, just over half a stone, or 3.5 kilos added just from a little thing that became a habit that's fun and nice, and it creeps up on you. And these things can happen so easily, and they can be a thing about fun, they can be a thing about gaining control. And when I heard talking about the control thing and also that element of it, I thought to myself when I was younger, I remember that eating was a way of controlling. It was one of the only things I could control. I couldn't control whether those dicks beat the shit out of me every day, virtually every day. I couldn't control whether the teachers caned me. I couldn't control any of those things. But what I could control was what I ate. As it turns out, I couldn't control what I didn't want to eat because some of the food there was atrocious, especially on a Tuesday. It used to be spam day, which I liked. I found a way of making spam nice by mixing it with, where they had mashed potato and putting salad cream, making like a mashed potato salad cream sandwich with the spam, which sounds gross, probably is gross, but it was a way of eating it. But for pudding, there'd be this horrible custard and there'd be prunes. And I remember eating it once, and it went down my throat, and I vomited back up, and they made me eat my vomit from the bowl until it was all gone, and then they caned me for vomiting. So it was pretty harsh. Control of my choice of food became my control mechanism, and also my escape, because when I was hiding and I was enjoying something from my tuck box, as they were called, so a box where I had my food and padlocked away, or when I was hiding in my room at home eating, that was a way that I could control my environment and control my world. And sometimes it can become like that. So this video is not meant to be kind of a sob story thing, but it's kind of a way of just talking to you guys about how habits can creep up on you, and how it's not always just cut and dry. And if you start to examine your reasons for doing things and really try and understand them, that's how you can start to formulate good habits from the bad habits and try and move away from those. So that's what I've got to say today. Been lovely chatting. I will speak to you tomorrow, so take care.